what is the value of the expression 4 squared plus 1 multiplied by open parenthesis 20 divided by 5 times 2 close parenthesis and all the square? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? This expression has tricked 98% of people and made them choose the wrong option. Let's dive in and break it down step by step together. To solve this question, many people first go straight to 4 squared and they simplify this expression to 16 plus 1 multiplied by 20 divided by 5 times 2 inside the parentheses and all the square. And the next step, they perform the addition between 16 and 1 and write this expression as 17 multiplied by 20 divided by 5 times 2 inside the parentheses and all the square. Then they move on to the expression inside the parentheses and start with the division between 20 and 5. So they simplify this expression to 17 multiplied by 4 times 2 inside the parentheses and all the square. Next, they do the multiplication between 4 and 2 and write this expression as 17 multiplied by 8 squared. Finally, they do the exponent and simplify this expression to 17 multiplied by 64, which finally gives them the answer 1088. Then, without any hesitation, they quickly say that the correct answer to this question is option D. But I have to say we were tricked and it's not the correct answer to this question. Also, some other people when solving this question first go straight to the expression inside the parentheses because they believe parentheses have the highest priority among all the operations. And they start with the multiplication between 5 and 2 because they think multiplication has a higher priority than division. So, they rewrite this expression as 4 squared plus 1 multiplied by 20 divided by 10 inside the parentheses and all the square. And the next step, they perform the division between 20 and 10 and write this expression as 4 squared plus 1 multiplied by 2 squared. Then, they go for the exponents and write this expression as 16 plus 1 multiplied by 4. And the final step, they perform the multiplication between 1 and 4 because they believe multiplication has a higher priority than addition. And this expression simplified to 16 plus 4, which ultimately gives them the answer 20. And immediately, they conclude that option B is the correct answer to this question. However, it's not the correct answer to this question. To solve this question, we must follow a rule that is called PEMDAS. And this rule, P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponent, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. We need to perform all the operations exactly in order from top to bottom according to the PEMDAS rule. So, first we go for the expression inside the parentheses because parentheses have the highest priority than the other operations. And inside the parentheses, first we have a division sign, then a multiplication sign. It's very important to note that multiplication and division have exactly the same level of priority. In this situation, we must start from the left and perform these two operations in order. So, first we go for the division between 20 and 5. And this expression simplified to 4 squared plus 1 multiplied by 4 times 2 inside the parentheses and all the square. And the next step, we perform the multiplication between 4 and 2. And this expression simplified to 4 squared plus 1 multiplied by 8 squared. Now, it's time for the exponents because after parentheses, exponent has a higher priority than the other operations. So, we rewrite this expression as 16 plus 1 multiplied by 64. In the final step, we perform the multiplication between 1 and 64 because multiplication has a higher priority than addition. And this expression becomes 16 plus 64, which finally gives us the answer 80. That's great. Option C is the correct answer to this question.